Hello, hello, and welcome back to Black Girl Diamonds. My name is Emily, and I love to diamond paint. And this is my second WIP Chat. I'm really excited because you guys, this week has been quite the experience, and I am just happy to be here and to just sit and have some Zen time before I have to go to work this afternoon and work on this diamond painting. So, what are we working on today? We are working on Tulips Galore, which is a kit by from Dreamer Designs. The artist name is Jane Maday, and this is a beautiful kit that I've been working on. It is a round drill canvas. This kit I've been working on since last week, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So I've raved about this kit. I really love the round drill placement when I use my 9 placer is spot on. There's no scooching of drills, which I really like. And it looks a mess, but the purple wax, love, love this purple wax. So that right there is a keeper. I definitely do think that once I have some more room in my stash, I will be adding more Dreamer Designs round kit to my, what do I want to call this? To my, oh my God, I can't think of anything. And of course, they're doing work in the apartment across the hall for me. But anyway, to my stash. Okay, so anyway, tools I'm using, you guys already know what tools I'm using because I use the same things. I am using my trusty Diamond Art Club super pointy black tweezers. I'm using my twist and pick pen with a single placer with putty and then my 9 placer that has the purple wax. I'm using another single placer with a 7 placer with purple wax. And then I'm using my 2 and 3 placer as well with pink wax in these because I just haven't cleaned them out and put purple. And then I am also using my trusty Muni Made tray because this is my favorite tray. So let's go ahead and get started. I actually kind of started working on this a little bit before I decided to hit play on the camera. Like, have you guys ever had those moments where like you needed to kind of stop and give yourself an attitude adjustment? That's basically what just happened. So I just kind of needed to have a moment where I wasn't talking, I wasn't doing anything, and I was just placing diamonds on the canvas. It is almost eerily quiet in my apartment right now, with the exception of them doing work in the vacant apartment across the hall. So, anyway, I hope everybody had a really good week. My week was weird. I'm going to talk about this in my Whip and Chat in more depth, but I actually had a medical emergency this week. I ruptured an ovarian cyst on Sunday. And so I was in the ER on Monday night in a lot of pain, but I got everything figured out. And the one thing I will say about, your health basically is that when you know there's something that's not right with your body, get yourself checked out. I really kind of like tried to be like, oh, it's nothing, it's nothing. But I was laying in my bed on Monday at like 6 o'clock because I was done working pretty early doing Amazon because I had worked a double shift on Monday and I was home by like 5 o'clock. And so at 6 o'clock, I'm laying in bed. I've eaten, I've showered, I've, kind of winded down and I was just in pain. Like there was literally nothing I could do. I took some ibuprofen. I had my heat pad on and I just could not get over the pain. So by 10 o'clock on Monday night, I was like, all right, I need to go to the ER. So I went to the ER, got the diagnosis, and I mean, God, I had to go through like a whole rigmarole of doing, ultrasounds and CT scans and stuff like that. But I'm just thankful that I got it all figured out. And now that it is Friday, I'm feeling a lot better. But yeah, when there's something wrong, when something doesn't feel right, just go get yourself checked out. I know that, and I even said this in my vlog, in my weekend vlog, because I opened that up today. I know that like our healthcare system here in America is absolute trash. And I am so thankful and fortunate that I have really good healthcare, but like, just still, man, just really try your best to take care of yourself. And also, like, really look into just like a lot of the different medical programs that will help you pay for your medical expenses. There are so many out there that a lot of people just don't know about. So yeah. But by doctor's orders though, I actually ended up missing 2 days of work. So I couldn't work Amazon for 2 days just because I was healing and everything like that. So it's just I've just kind of like been hanging out around the house a little bit. Yesterday, I had a hair appointment that I had scheduled about a month ago, so I did that, and I got to see my bestie, Ashley, and we just, talked and kikied like we always do. And then I also did, because me and Ashley, we have an agreement that if it's Geneva Bowers, we typically will buy that painting and we kind of rotate based off of the ones that we know we want for sure. So it was her turn to purchase a restock, and she ended up getting us Dream Big. So I finally have that kit in hand. I am so excited. Already itching to like kit it up, but I'm leaving for DC on Sunday and that kit is 100 colors. And I know for sure that I do not have enough storage for 100 colors. So she is staying in the box for now, but she might be one of my first finishes of 2027. But I'm going to unbox that. So be on the lookout for that video on my channel in the foreseeable future. So I had that, and then yesterday because like I said, like I didn't work, but I also ended up going to the Valley Junction Farmers Market yesterday with some friends. That was fun, and honestly, it was hot. It was so hot yesterday, but honestly, like getting out and walking around, like the doctor told me that like, I still need to get out and walk around and stuff like that to try not and stay too stationary to, really like kind of heal and stuff like that based on my body. So I did do that yesterday. That was a lot of fun. And then yeah, came home. I did not diamond paint yesterday when I came home. I actually just relaxed for the most part and turned in early. So it was not too bad. So yeah, so that was, oh, you guys can't even see what I'm doing because I moved spots. Let's go ahead and move the camera just a smidge. And there it goes. Oh, you guys are seeing all of this in real time because my God, today do I ever struggle with all of this stuff. Let's see if how about we move it that way? That'll be a little better. And we can move it. There we go. Okay. As you can see though, like I'm not working on like a super big piece of this kit right now. I'm gonna have to move it again though so I can get to another spot. But yeah, so that's been like the last like couple of days for me, at least with just kind of like my health and work and all of that stuff. But the other thing that I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about is wanted to talk books. So, I think I had said in the last WIP Chat that I had either finished or I was about to finish book 2 of the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros, Iron Flame. And I have finished Iron Flame. So I can't promise no spoilers, y'all. I'm sorry. Like, I wish I could be that girl. But I honestly, like, I can't. I need Rebecca Yarros to step to the front of the class because Iron Flame was so good. The ending was so spot on that the only option for me right now is to honestly take a break. I mean, like the ending of that book was so good and literally just like had me on the proverbial edge of my seat when I finished it. I do believe I finished that book last Saturday, actually, now that I think about it, but I don't really think I talked too much about it on the blog. Like I am like kind of new to like the fantasy world. I mean, don't get me wrong. I read Twilight. I read The Hunger Games. I read the first book at least, the first 2 books in the Divergent series. So, the whole like fantasy dystopian vibe of a book I have definitely like been into, but this is kind of like my first like real like jump in foray into like true fantasy realm of books. And what I really liked about this book are the complex level of characters, even with the dragon. I feel like Taryn is like that, or Taryn, excuse me, is that overprotective brother that is never wrong. I feel like Andarna is kind of like that go-getter, but she doesn't really like obviously she doesn't realize her inexperience or her strength or anything like that. I mean, hell, baby girl didn't even know that she could breathe fire until she killed somebody. So there was that. And then like you have Violet, who is incredibly headstrong, and the way she like processes information just goes to show why, she needed to be in the scribe quadrant. But I mean, they said it multiple times that her being in the squad quadrant actually would have got her killed faster. So her being a dragon rider actually made sense because, she would be bonded to a dragon who is going to kind of help her start to see things the way they actually are. And with her being able to put her own wards up in her mind so that way, no one can kind of read her thoughts or anything like that, I thought was really important. And then just all of the characters in the book, I think, are incredible. So I've really, really been enjoying this series. But let's go ahead and talk about that ending real quick. Oh, girl, what? Like I was in the car and I'm, driving around doing my Amazon shift, and I was actually like towards the end of my shift, which was a really good thing when I finished it. But I like had to like pull over, stop, and like re-listen to like the last like 20 minutes because I was truly shooketh at what happened. And I'm wondering too, like if Rebecca Yarros, like if it was one of those things, because I've heard that sometimes authors will just write not knowing how their books are gonna go. And then like when they reread it, they're like, wait, I wrote that? I'm wondering if that's kind of what happened. That I will not spoil. I'm not gonna spoil what happened at the end of the book because I won't do that. But, it was really kind of one of those things where it's like, damn, like my girl Violet, like she cannot catch a break. She absolutely cannot catch a break. And there were just so many different moving pieces. And while I am so interested in figuring out like the next part of the story, I just don't have the emotional bandwidth to get through it right now. Like, I know that like what would happen is I would read Onyx Storm in like 3 days and just be in a full hangover because of it, knowing that the next book doesn't even come out until September. So I also ended up chatting with my friend this week that I did a buddy read for this book on. I chatted with her about it, and we are both in agreement that nah, dog. Like, we need to go ahead and chill, and also like have like some really nice like palate cleansers in between before we start Onyx Storm. So I think we are gonna start Onyx Storm in late August. So because like the rest of my July is pretty busy. She also is in a book club, and there are a couple of books that she needs to read. Plus, we both have ridiculous amounts of books in our Audible. Listen, raise your hand if you get Audible credits and then you don't spend them for 8 months, and then you get an email that says, "Hey, you have 12 Audible credits. Would you like to spend them? Here are some books that you might like based off of your library." Yeah, it's me. I'm her. So, but like that's like not a bad problem to have, but at the same time, girl. So, I have a bunch of books in my Audible that I have not touched, that I have not read. So, she gave me her book list of what she's going to be working on between now and the time that we start reading Onyx Storm. And so I decided to kind of like take a look a little bit and do the same. So I actually started the next book in the Mount Olympus series by Katie Roberts. So I read Electric Idol and I have read Neon Gods. And so I actually just started Wicked Beauty, which is a retelling of a love story between Helen of Troy, basically, Achilles, and God, I can never say his name. But I think it's like Apocalypse. And what I didn't really know, and my friend told me, not Ashley, but my man friend, he basically told me though that Achilles is gay. So makes a whole lot of sense. But basically, the story is that Helen is the daughter of Ares, and Ares dies. And so her brother, Zeus, decides that the person that wants to be the next Ares needs to go through kind of like a tournament of champions type deal. And the winner not only gets to become the next Ares, but they will also be able to marry Helen. Helen is pissed about this, and she decides to enter the competition because she wants to be the next Ares. And so Achilles and Apocalypse are also in the tournament, and there's this whole super sensual tension thruple thing going on, and I am about 6 chapters in, and the tension you could cut with a butter knife. So, really excited for that. That's more of like my fantasy erotic fiction type deal, though. I don't care what anybody says to BCW. The Empyrean series is not spicy. I don't care. That ain't it. I've read spicy. I have read spicy, and the Empyrean series ain't it. It's honestly like during those scenes, I kind of want to fast forward through them because they're not spicy. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm reading Wicked Beauty. The other book that I'm reading right now is Almost There, which is a retelling of The Princess and the Frog, where what would happen if Tiana made a deal with Dr. Fossier. So that one is by Farah Rashan. She wrote the Boyfriend Project series, and some other really, really cute romance novels. So I'm about halfway through that one, and that one is actually told from 3 perspectives, which is fun. So it's told from the perspective of Naveen, Prince Naveen, Tiana, and Dr. Fossier. So it's a YA novel as well, and actually a twisted tale. It actually is a bunch of the Disney princesses. So there's one with Jasmine, there's one with Ariel, there's one with Hercules. So but this is the first one in the series that I'm reading. I had bought this book a while ago, and then I had the Audible credit, so I went ahead and got it on Audible credit, and so I decided to go ahead and start reading that or listening to that. And then the other book that I'm currently reading right now, which I need to finish before I go to DC, so I'll probably try and get that done today or tomorrow, is volume 6 of the oh god, you guys can't even see what I'm doing because I moved it again. Okay, there we go. So volume 6 of Lore Olympus, which was a webtoon, but it is a retelling of the story between Hades and Persephone. That is really good. It's just I've just been so tired by the time like it's bedtime, I haven't picked it up. And honestly, it's a graphic novel. So I'm pretty sure that if I really, put the pedal to the metal, I can finish that book in like probably an hour. But it's really good. It's getting to the point where now we are starting to find some things out about Persephone and about her past and about why she's in the underworld right now going to school. So that's actually been really interesting. So those are like my reads for right now. The Wicked Beauty and A Twisted Tale, Almost There. Those are downloaded on my phone. So more than likely what will happen is on when I get on the plane on Sunday, I will be listening to those because my flight from Des Moines to Chicago is like 45 minutes and then it's like a 3-hour flight to DC. So I should be able to get pretty far into my book. So that is what I have going on with reading. And then the other thing that I kind of like ask myself a little bit is, like I've tried to read while diamond painting before and I have done it. But I don't know, like I just like the TV being on, I think, when I diamond paint. So I actually really don't read when I diamond paint or listen to books when I diamond paint. I usually just have YouTube on. Honestly, I think if they were to put the Audible app on Roku, if if there was a way just for something to be on the screen, then I would do it. But, until Roku wants to do that, I have to just, watch YouTube. But I've actually been watching some pretty fun stuff on YouTube lately, so it's actually been really good. All right, let's see. Another thing, and again, I have a list of things to talk about, so you guys already know how I roll. So, as for like other life updates and stuff like that, so yes, I'm flying to DC this weekend. Very excited for that. I have my itinerary already planned for the extra days that I'll be spending out there. So, I mean, overall, it's just going to be a great trip. Like, it's going to be a great trip. It's going to be a fun trip. I am thoroughly excited for this opportunity. And I think also, like, I'm excited to just, like, kind of take a mini vacation. I mean, I haven't been anywhere. I haven't, like, taken an actual vacation since, like, 2021. And even then, I don't know how much of a vacation you can actually call it because me and my ex-husband, we took my nephews up to visit his people in Wisconsin. It was a great trip, but, 2021 was a really long time ago, 5 years, to be exact. So, it'll be nice to go and to just really like ingrain myself in history, of this nation. And I'm really excited to go to the African American Museum. That's just going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I am like a little slightly like apprehensive because like I can navigate public transportation, but I just don't have to because I live here in Des Moines and I have a car. So navigating public transportation, I think may be a challenge at first, but everything has an app now. So I'm worried, but I'm not worried, I guess, in a way. But also too, like I was reading on a couple of like DC Reddits for tourists. And, it's really one of those things where you just because there is so much to see and there's so much to do, you have to pick and choose what it is that you want to see and do. But then also you need to make sure that like you're giving yourself time, especially like because there's so much history in DC. But I think, for me as a black woman, there's also a lot of history that doesn't include me. So, like, for example, I'm going to go see the Declaration of Independence. And it's like, that's really cool to see that document. But there's also the realization that that document was not meant for me. That document was meant to protect the independence of white men in this country. I mean, it wasn't even meant for white women. So, and also in the Declaration of Independence, it also states that, technically, I'm considered, three-fifths of a person. So while it is going to be really cool to see that document and that piece of American history, taking into context for what it actually means is something that I'm going to have to consider. Another thing is that like I'm not like really like a big like souvenirs person. Like I don't like, oh, I need to buy for this person. I don't really do that. So I think the one thing that I am gonna end up purchasing is just, like, a bunch of postcards. I think those would be, like, really fun, but I think what I want to do with the postcards, though, is I wanna go ahead and, like, purchase postcards, right? And then when I come back, I wanna frame them and then give them as gifts to, like, some of my friends and family, to say, "Hey, this is, something that I got from DC, and it was fun." So, those are just, like, a couple of things that I've kind of, like, been thinking about as I prep for this trip. I also did go ahead and decide that I am going to check a bag because I'm gonna be there for a week, and I am not gonna try and, like, army roll all of my stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and try to army roll all of my stuff just for the sake of carrying my bag onto the plane. Like, nah, bro, I ain't doing that. So I am gonna take a bigger suitcase. So just really figuring out what it is that I want to wear, what I want to take, and all that other stuff. Because I know that like for the conference for the first few days, I will be wearing dresses. And then, I'll basically be wearing kind of like athleisure for the other days that I'm there because I'm going to be doing like a lot of walking around and whatnot. So I do have that to look forward to. But yeah, so I'm really excited though to go to DC. That's going to be just a really, really good trip. And then, I come back, I'll work for a couple of days and then SummerSlam. So that's the other thing that I have planned for this upcoming week. So as you guys can see though, we're done. We are done with the little section I was working on. So we have this beautiful blue flower here. And then we finished up these leaves and then we have some more background. So I actually only have about, I would say like 25% left of this kit, but that is where I am going to leave you right now. So thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode of a Whip and Chat Black Girl Diamonds. I cannot wait to show you guys what Tulips Galore looks like when it is all finished. My original goal was to have this done before I went to DC. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't have to go to work till 2 today. And right now, if I look at my phone, it is 9:46 a.m. So I might actually be able to get another really big chunk done today and tomorrow to finish this kit. But we will just kind of have to see how that cookie crumbles. I'm not making any promises. Anyway, but if you made it to this point in the Whip and Chat, please, please, please leave me a purple heart and tell me, what are you currently reading? What project are you currently working on? And have you read Iron Flame? Because if you have, let me know with no spoilers, because if I was able to do it, you could do it. Let me know in the comments, though, with no spoilers. What did you think of the ending? Did you jump right into Onyx Storm or did you take a break? I would love to know. Also, if you do love this type of content talking about diamond art painting and all that fun stuff, please be sure to like, comment this video and also subscribe to my channel. And I hope that you have a great weekend. Again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Emily. I love to diamond paint. This is Black Girl Diamonds, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.